What's up, guys? So today in this video we'll be diving into Spiti Valley in winter, about how safe it is to be traveling to Spiti Valley in the winter. Keep in mind that the winter months in Spiti Valley include December, January, February, March and a first half of April. This is what is predominantly the winter months in Spiti Valley. Valley is a cold desert, so unlike the rest of Himachal Pradesh, it is extremely cold in Spiti Valley, with the temperatures ranging between minus 20 to minus 35 degrees. That is in the night time, and the daytime temperature will be anywhere between minus 10 to plus 10. So it's an extremely cold place to be going to. The place will be covered in snow. It looks all rosy in photographs, but it is not the kind of place that you can be going there without knowing what are the safety hazards that can go wrong and things that can avoid your trip and keep your trip from being joyful and fun. So now, starting off with the first thing is that when you're traveling to Spiti Valley in winter, there's a very high possibility that you can end up getting stuck over there, and this is because of snowstorms and blizzards that can happen anytime. So there's no way you can check the weather and be sure about a blizzard. There are avalanche and blizzard alerts that Google does give you, but it is very unlikely that it will be accurate on the internet, because it's such a remote place that for Google weather to be accurate in terms of disasters like a avalanche or a blizzard to be coming there is very grim. You'll have to go based on the local knowledge, because the locals over there know the place better than anybody else. So there's nowhere in Spiti Valley that you can be going and feeling like in winter that, okay, now I'm safe, there's no need to worry about. I'm not saying that going to Spiti in winter is a worrying factor, but you should always remember that there's a 50% chance that you can end up getting stuck because of extreme weather. Now, when you end up getting stuck over there, what you should be doing is staying where you are. Do not try to move and run because you have a flight or a train booked. It is important to understand that your life is more precious than a return train or a bus ticket or even a flight. You can always book the return journey again, but you cannot get your life back if something hazardous happens along the road. Most accidents happen along the road because people are trying to rush back to get back to civilization, because they're going to be missing their return buses or trains or flights. If you just stay put into the homestay or the guest house that you are staying in, that's the safest till the weather clears and the road is cleared, and that's the easiest way. Because when you set out on the road, even if you're in the vehicle, keep in mind that the vehicle cannot keep you warm throughout. At a certain point in the roadblock, the vehicle will go off, and this will result in extremely cold weather, because the car will start getting cold and you'll start ending up getting really bad feeling in your body, which could result in you falling sick, in terms of even some people even end up getting altitude sickness or fall sick because of the cold, extreme cold that it is there. You start getting cramps into your legs, your fingers start getting numb. Overall, you'll see other people falling sick, and that's a panic state that you do not want to get in. There have been cases like in the last week, in the first week of December, it was reported by Himachal Police that around 700 to 800 people were rescued from Spiti Valley who were stuck there. So this is primarily because the people were stuck because of bad weather. It was nothing to do with their undoing or because of something that they did. It was purely the weather that caused them to get stuck in this valley. Now, if you're someone who's planning on going there and you want to avoid getting stuck, what are the precautions that you should be taking? Number one is, do not plan on going there on a self-driving trip in winter. No matter how good a driver you are, and no matter how many times you've been to Spiti Valley, every time you go to Spiti Valley in winter, you need to be hiring a local driver. And the reason being is because someone who's a local knows the terrain, knows the weather conditions, knows what has to be done in terms of when the weather goes bad. So hiring a local driver isn't about just giving him the money and feeling that, okay, fine, we do not need him. But in reality, you need him for your life, because he's the only one who can get you through a bad spell of weather. He knows where to take your vehicle, and he definitely knows how to get you in and out of Spiti without falling prey to any kind of altitude sickness or harm along the journey. And the reason I'm saying this is because over the years there have been various cases of people who have self-driven to Spiti Valley, have not had the correct technical knowledge, and have ended up taking their car off road have ended up losing their lives and have even ended up losing their vehicle. So if you want to restore, like, see, if you're going to go to Spiti in winter with your car and you are taking your car, be assured that you're going to end up damaging your car in some way or the other. So if your car doesn't matter to you and you're okay damaging your car, you can go ahead. But my personal recommendation is still take a local driver along. Hire his car, take his car, because that's the easier way. You might end up spending more money. But if you're going for a holiday in Spiti Valley and you really want to enjoy it, it is better to give the money to a driver so that you can enjoy the journey. Driving, if you want to self-drive, summer is the months that you can do it. Second half of April onwards, you can go and self-drive and get that experience. But not in winter. Now, when it comes to the winter months, keep in mind that it can snow and the roads can get blocked anywhere. The Manali Kunzum road, which leads to Spiti Valley, is completely shut. There is no way you can possibly get to Chandratal Lake. So no matter how much you try, do not even try to embark on that journey, because you will end up getting stuck. And when you do end up getting stuck, it'll be a very big disaster. Most of the police stations along the journey will not let you go through, because they don't want the extra headache of then having to come to the place that you're stuck in, because your family members are worried because they haven't contacted you and then trying to get you back. Keep in mind that Spiti Valley in winter can turn very, very fatal if you do not have the correct gear. And when I'm saying correct gear, you need to be having thick woolens with you. You need to be having a good proportion of gloves with you. When I say proportion of gloves, you need to have at least a couple of gloves with you or more, because if your gloves get wet, you cannot use them. And if you're going to be relying on buying things along the way, it's not necessarily along the way you might find things that you need. So it is always better to carry everything in excess. And in excess, I mean not overpacking, but just carrying at least 3 pairs of gloves along with you. Likewise with your socks. And when you're going to Spiti Valley, the key factor while planning your trip is that you need a longer trip. And a longer trip, I would say, is that a minimum of 9 days. Because the longer you plan your trip, the more buffer time you have. So what I would actually recommend to someone is that do not book a trip directly, which is just, or do not plan your trip rather, which is just taking you to Spiti and bringing you back from Delhi or Chandigarh. Plan a trip where you have at least 2 days to acclimatize while going. Say you're staying in a place like Shimla, Narkanda, or even somewhere along the way in, say, GB, and then on the return also do the same way of planning to stay back along the way. You can even go to Manali, you can go to Dharamshala. So what this does is that it gives you extra buffer time, so that even if you end up getting stranded in Spiti Valley, you're not going to be missing your return bus or your train or your flight back. This way you avoid the panic that you're going to face when you're actually stuck in any kind of a blizzard or a snowstorm and cannot exit Spiti Valley. Keep in mind that when you're traveling to Spiti Valley in winter, make sure that you are carrying enough of snacks with you. And when I'm saying snacks, I'm saying energy bars and things that can, in the form of dry fruits, can come handy if in case you get stuck. Because food is what is the biggest cause of falling sick. And when you do not have enough of nutrients going into your body, that's when your body starts to feel sick. So make sure that you have enough of dry fruits and energy bars along with you, so that you are comfortable in case of worst case. So this particular video is for those who are worried about going to Spiti Valley in winter and want to understand what exactly worst case scenario in Spiti Valley could be. So my video is purely explaining to you what the worst case scenario can be. The best case scenario is that you go to Spiti Valley, you enjoy the snowfall, the roads are clear, and you return back to Shimla without any hazard. But the worst case scenario video is this. If you have reached the end of this video, very good. We have a winter trip happening to Spiti Valley in the month of January, February, March. If you're interested, click on the link in the description. If you have any further queries about Spiti Valley in winter, leave a comment in the comment section and we'll be more than happy to help. Till our next video about Spiti Valley, do stay safe, stay happy and stay blessed.